Welcome to Fanboy Critic, our show where we go see new movies out in theaters and give you a review.
Both the good and the bad. I'm Jorem Ortiz and I'll be your fanboy.
I'm Sam McClure, I'll be your critic. This week on Fanboy Critic, we went to go see Transformers Rise of the Beast, directed by Stephen Caple Jr., starring Dominic Fishback and Anthony Ramos. And if you don't know what the Transformers are, they are transforming robots that turn into, well, in the previous versions, cars. In this version, they turn into beasts and also cars. All right, Jay, this is like a 25th Transformers movie. I don't know. This is like, what, 9?
I'd like to say
Something like that.
8. I'm going to go with 8.
All right. Somebody will let us know. All right, Jay, what do they do good?
Let's start off with the actors. Anthony Ramos. I mean, he is the main guy. I think he did a really good job. I think he pretty much carried this movie. I think they did a really good job creating that relationship of him and his little brother. I'm not sure who the actor is, but his character was just so good. I mean, he was just real uppity up and like, I can't explain it.
He's real uppity up?
It's not real uppity up.
What does that mean?
He was just, I think Ramos just did a really good job of just being a cool guy. I think that's what I liked about him.
He seemed like he was an interesting main character. He wasn't bland, but he also wasn't so like specific that you would be like turned off if you didn't like him.
You know, like he was a cool Boy Scout, let's put it that way. He was a really cool Boy Scout. You know, he always did the right thing at times. But he was really good. And then the girl, what's her name?
Dominic Fishback.
Yeah, Dominic Fishback. She was great. I've seen her in other films too.
Really?
Yeah. And you know what? She's always like super comedic. And I'm kind of glad they didn't like force that upon her in this. Like she did have a bunch of jokes. She's been in her most recent thing is I think it's called Beehive on Prime.
Oh, I have heard of that.
And she's like, her character's crazy there, but she's like a real comedic actor, and they didn't force that upon her in this.
No.
So that's what I really liked. I mean, she did have her moments, and like she did crack jokes and stuff like that.
It was very subtle. It was just kind of like felt natural to her character, even though it didn't seem written in. Yeah. It was just like kind of in her facial expressions and her delivery.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, her facial expressions do it. But yeah, those two actors were really great. All the voice actors for all the, Decepticons and Primal Beasts, and
they're not Decepticons in this one. What are they called? They're
I don't know.
Unicorns.
Omnicorns.
Omnicrons.
I don't know.
They weren't Decepticons, but they were unicorns or something.
Yeah. Everyone's voices were good. I mean, it was almost kind of crazy seeing both primes talk to each other because they sounded so similar. And I'm like, who's the real one? I don't know who I want to like cheer for, you know? But yeah,
the same side.
Yeah, they are on the same side. But the voice actors were great. I think the CGI looked really good for all the robots and all the beasts, but there were moments where like it just looked terrible.
Yeah, I agree. Anytime like a human is interacting with like some of the CGI, it did not look good.
Yeah, but when it was like robot to robot, like it almost looked real. Like I could feel the metal and like the somewhat feathers they had, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, the CGI was really good with the robots and stuff like that. The soundtrack for this was awesome. If you're a hip hop head, you were born in the 90s, you're gonna recognize every single song. Yeah, this movie definitely was sometimes funny, sometimes heartwarming, and it had some action. It had a lot of action. But I felt like it always cut short. Like I kept thinking it was gonna keep going, and it would just like
they were just gonna stop for no reason most of the time. So it wasn't like something happened to make them stop. They're just like, all right, we're done fighting. Everybody go back to your corners.
Yeah. That's how I felt. Like it was just like round 1, round 2, round 3. Other than that, I enjoyed it. It was cool.
Yeah, I had a good time. It's not the smartest movie in the world. It's kind of silly, but honestly, this is probably one of the better Transformers movies that I've seen.
Okay.
Probably up there, top 3. There's not a ton of Transformers movies where I'm just like, that's a good movie. Anthony Ramos definitely carries the movie.
Yeah, he was great.
He was a perfect casting choice, and I think they leaned heavily on the humans. Because I gotta say, I don't really care that much about what happens to the robots. I just don't connect with them on an emotional level. I don't know. It's just because they're definitely clearly CGI and not real people. I don't know. I just don't connect with them. Also, like, how many times have they like died and come back? Like, hey, if something happens to them, I know nothing really happened to them. And especially when this one's in the 90s and there's a whole series of them in the 2000s, I know what happened to these specific characters. Like, I know that they're okay, at least up until, you know, a certain point in the movies, in the
That's a good way to
original series.
think about it.
So I'm just like, okay, so something is not going to happen to them. So I'm really just then thinking about, okay, how are they getting out of this? Not like, oh, I'm invested in what's happening.
Yeah.
Like you said, the CGI at parts is really good, but like
Really good for me. Like,
when the entire and everything on screen is CGI, it looks good. When they're having to mix it with live action, not quite as good.
yeah.
What I did like that they're kind of, I mean, I don't know if this is a spoiler, but they're expanding the Hasbro universe.
They are definitely, which is kind of cool. I mean, go for it.
You know,
You can do it. Go for it.
I for one am excited to see Autobots in the Dungeons and Dragons world.
That would be crazy.
They did a lot of cool stuff. The movie itself, it's not like, you know, it's not Citizen Kane. It's never going to be that, but it had fun with itself.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the dialogue was really dumb or really exposition.
Yeah, what you expect from Transformers.
They kind of hit the emotional notes were kind of really opaque. Like they're just overt. There's like, oh yeah, this, I can't spoil it. We're trying to keep it spoiler free, but like the things that are happening to Anthony Ramos and his brother are really overt. There's no like subtlety. There's no nuance. It's just like, bam, this is what's happening. This is what Anthony Ramos needs to do. And then complications. And then that's how a story goes anyway. But it's just super overt. And I think something that modern audiences are so used to that it kind of falls flat. Other than that, though, I think it was pretty solid.
Transformers, you can't go wrong with this up there.
Yo, you can definitely go wrong with it. Just ask Mark Wahlberg. Jay, I've done a really good job setting you up to go convince the fanboys, the critics to go out there to go see it, because I didn't have a lot of terrible things to say about it.
Critics, come on, man. You've seen all the other Transformers. You keep hearing me say this, like, hey, you've seen all the other ones. And it's simply that. I mean, you've definitely seen any of the Transformers. And who is not a Transformers fan? I mean, come on. Everyone grew up watching that animated TV show or either watched the movie, the live action. I mean, that's what you're going to watch. Just don't go in there with your brain.
I would say for them just being cars half the time, there was not very many car chase scenes.
Literally
more car chasing.
Yeah, definitely.
That was like one of the best scenes in the movie was the one car chase that they got. Fanboys, listen, you know what you're getting when you go into this movie. If you want something so bland that you have to turn your brain off, you can watch all the other ones without having to go to the theater. You can see robot fights on top of robot fights on top of, they're all out there. This is not bringing anything new to that particular genre. What's your rating? How do you feel about this movie? He's out of crap.
No, I'm not a crap. No, I'm gonna like. You know, it might just be me. Maybe I did turn my brain off when I went to go watch this movie. But you know, I had really high expectations. But with all the new twists and different characters and all the new things they brought to this, brought me back up to a like. You know, I did enjoy the movie. I might watch it again, you know. But yeah, I enjoyed it. There was enough stuff to carry the movie to make it enjoyable for me. So yeah, I definitely liked it. I mean, Anthony Ramos did a good job.
Yeah, he carried the movie, and like I said, I'm also at a like. I'm not gonna toy around with this. I liked it. It was good enough, and my expectations were super low. After watching Mark Wahlberg in, I guess, 2 movies, I don't remember both of them, but after watching those ones, my expectations super, super low. So watching Anthony Ramos actually do a decent job of bringing character and life to a pretty stale franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I consider it stale. Watching them bring new things and new life to it. I like the Beast Bots, whatever they're called, Maximals. Yeah, watching the Maximals, I think I find them much more interesting than the other cars. I know it's blasphemies, but
Yeah,
Blasphemy.
blasphemy.
I know that's blasphemous to say that the Maximals are more interesting to the Autobots, but that's just my opinion. I don't even remember the original Transformers cartoons. I only remember the Beast Wars, which I freaking loved. But that's probably why I like this one. It just brings me back to the 90s, and I really miss a time where the world wasn't on fire. Thanks for watching, Fanboys and Critics. Make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment below telling us what you thought about the new movie and our review. And check out our Patreon to help support the content. And you can join us on our Discord if you want to talk more about the movies. And we'll see you next week for
Indiana Jones, The Dial of Life.
No, it's The Flash.
Oh, damn.
How could you forget about The Flash?
Oh my God, it's The Flash. It's The Flash. We're at The Flash. Okay.
Yeah, then 2 weeks after that is Indiana Jones. A week off in between. Nothing that interesting coming out unless you want to see the Jennifer Lawrence. No hard feelings.
Yes.
Let's see that. Okay.
Yes. And we'll see you for the next review.
I thought that was Pete Davidson. Is that not Pete Davidson?
Maybe it's not. Sound like a bugger.
I thought it was Pete Davidson.
Pete the T Davidson.
Pete the T.